everyone today? Welcome to Conversations with Regina. I'm Regina, and you are you. So here we are. We've got a really big show lined up today. My new friend Kim Passable is with us. We met a month or so ago on Marty's show, and I have just been laughing my ass off at her videos. And so we're going to have a conversation. And, life is good. So let's get started. Let's do a little business here. The old normal, give me a few likes and subscribe. Be sure and like my video. We need the story, the do. Subscribe, ring the bell, be notified, and give me some thumbs up. I really appreciate all your help in getting this channel going, and we're growing all the time. And thank you so much for those who support. And then that this is brought to you sort of by Ray's Roast Coffee, which I'm the proprietress of. And oh my gosh, and we've got a new coffee in from Burundi. I haven't even got it up on the website yet. This is the very first roast of it here, and I brought some home. I haven't given any to anybody yet, and I am loving it. It's like day 2 since I roasted it, and oh my God, it's like twice as good as it was after 14 hours or 12 hours. Just fabulous coffee. I've been really lucky with the Burundis, and our friend Tim, that we did the tour with at Bodhi Leaf, he was the one who recommended this coffee for me, and bless his little heart, he did a great job. So oh my gosh, he was so wonderful when he did the show with us, and God, it's just great. It's just so good to have friends like that around the country. And I'm so lucky and so blessed that I got to know these folks down at Bodhi Leaf, and because they've made my business everything it is, because they have such quality. With quality comes customers. And I'm gonna like tell this story a little bit. There's a little coffee story. So the other day I got the call from some salesman for coffee who wanted me to try some coffee out of the Congo. And I said, well, don't send me like 4 or 5. No way of roasting that small of quantity. And so they said, well, if we had somebody else roast you some, would you be able to taste it anyway? And I said, oh, sure. So they sent me 12 ounces of coffee. I made it through the first half of the cup. I don't want to go, God, my coffee's really freaking good, but I'm going to. My coffee's really freaking good. I couldn't even drink that other stuff. It was a little lighter roasted than I prefer, and oh, mercy. Just wasn't quite what I had in mind for a cup of coffee, I guess, especially for an afternoon. I want something that has some good, healthy, velvety mouthfeel to it, and is a good, strong, robust, with some notes of chocolate in it. And oh, I love mouthfeel in a coffee. So anyway, enough about the coffee. And so then I was going to do a reading right now, kind of like build up in case we forget later on. And this is coming from the Polishing the Mirror with Ram Dass. So let me do this, and then we will get into the chat room and bring Kim out. She she's still doing her makeup or something, and I'm just so excited. I want to hurry and get to her, but she looks like she could be ready. Did you guys see her video that she posted yesterday about the weenie company? I loved it. It was so funny. I'm starting to get ready. My housekeeper's here, and I think, oh my God, the weenie company video. So I show my housekeeper, and I just barely was able to get dressed. I got laughing and telling Jillian about Kim's videos, and so, oh my God. Anyway, back to the reading. And so we start off. Aldous Huxley reminds us the body is always in time, the spirit is always timeless, and the psyche is an amphibious creature compelled by the laws of man's being to associate itself to some extent with its body, but capable, if it so desires, of experiencing and being identified with its spirit. Your whole life becomes a meditative act. It's not just sitting on your meditation pillow, your zafu. All of life is a big zafu. No matter whether you're driving or making love or whatever you're doing, it's all meditation. It is the practice of being here now. When you meditate, you begin to develop the power of your mind through concentration, through one-pointedness, by following the breath or repeating a mantra. You develop the capacity to put your mind on one thought and keep it there and let everything else flow by. You don't stop your mind, you let it flow. But you bring one thought constantly to the surface. You keep coming back to one thought, breathing in, breathing out, or rising, falling, or you use your mantra, Ram, 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 Ram. Whether you are eating, sleeping, making love, Ram, 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 keeps going. You spiritualize your life. You convert it all by maintaining a frame of reference that has the dual capacity of centering you and increasing the power of one-pointedness. Maharaji told me, bring your mind to one point and wait for grace. Oh, and so there it is, our first reading of the day. And I love the breathing in, breathing out. That's all I've got to do to be meditating, is think about that. And so with that, let me introduce our guests for today. If she'd show me a thumbs up, I would. Okay, she is ready in the green room. And without further ado, here is my friend Kim Passable.
Hi, everyone.
Hey,
maybe
sweetie.
we'll move this up a little bit.
Oh no. No, you're great. You're looking wonderful.
Thank you. I like to look good. I apologize if there's feedback. I'm putting on my headphones. Today has been a very busy day. I was just listening to your meditation. I like that very much. Mindfulness is what that was speaking of. And
Indeed.
Keeping your mind in one place. That has not been my experience so far today. I have been all over the place.
Oh, my stars. I am so easily distracted.
Oh, there, I can hear you wonderful now.
I'm so easily distracted that it's good to just think about breathing. I like to sit down and just breathe, and so I can stare out the window and not do a darn thing. But then the squirrel is in the backyard, and then I start watching the squirrel. Can you imagine me jumping to a squirrel? Oh, well, no,
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 not at all. You get distracted easily?
no, no. Oh, no.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit too easily. I don't know. It's just part of my shtick, as we like to say.
Okay, that'll be my excuse too.
There you go. We have our shtick together,
You know,
and when we're apart.
I was blonde for the past 3 years, and I finally went a little more towards my natural color recently. But yeah, I was leaning into the blonde thing real hard, real hard.
Well, I have been blonde my entire life, and at this stage of my life, you can starting to notice the fact that there's really not that much between those ears.
No, I don't believe that for a second.
Oh,
You're a very smart woman and a motivated business person. I am very impressed by. It is not easy to run a business, and I am. I listen when you talk because I know you're smart. So
oh,
you can't
well,
fool
thank
me.
you. It's this business has been such a joy that I haven't worked at really. I work at it, but it kind of runs itself. I'm always going, well, if I get out and try to sell something, then I get busier. And I'm not sure I want to be busier, you know? My coffee sells itself.
I don't know what to do with all this money.
Yeah, screw money. Who needs that?
Oh, what do I do with it? I've got bags in the garage. I've got bags in the living room. The bank, I take that they're like, you're bringing us more money? What are we supposed to do with it? I don't believe you for a second.
Way. But, with less money, I have less problems. And so I just, I'm not worried about it. I don't like money. I think that we worry too much about money.
I definitely worry about it too much. I worry not about money. I worry about the absence of money.
I like the way you put that.
With more money does absolutely come more responsibility. Isn't that a line from Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility.
I would not be surprised. I remember one of my friends in the rooms of recovery.
I'm so sorry for fiddling with myself.
Oh, you're fine. It's pretty common to fiddle with ourselves on as we keep looking at ourselves on the screen. Oh dear. And I've always got my hearing aids to mess with too. But anyway, Otis would say something to the effect of, when I was a drunk, I didn't have any now with money as I had then. There's just more zeros on the end. And I find that that's really true. When I've been flush, there's just a lot of problems with money and all the zeros and, where all to spend it. And some of the happiest times have been in my life have been when I've had less. And I because as a young hippie, when I was retired between the ages of 19 and 20, about 25, really, God, I didn't have a pot to piss in. And I think back of that time as being really, really a joyous time. And, because life was a struggle and just trying to make things happen. And it was all good, on the other side of it, 50 years further on down the road, I look back and I go, God, that was a good time. My house burned down, going through relationships like they were nobody's business and struggling with that internal dysphoria and not even know what it was. And Where would I be today without those times? I lived without electricity for a couple of years. I lived without TV for like 10 years. I, you know, God, that was just great. Kind of on that spiritual quest.
Speaking of TV, because I don't watch the TV,
Uh
but
huh.
I mean, I'm on my computer all the time. So, like, I don't know how to relate that to other people, but like, today there was all these things that needed, and I was like, I have to be on TV in a couple of hours and I want to get ready. Like, that's what you have to tell people for them to understand. Like, oh, well, what channel? It's none of your business. Leave me alone. I have stuff to do, important stuff, and I do. This is important to me. But I mean, I feel like I'm having a lot of the times that you're talking about again in my life
Uh
right
huh.
now. I've simplified. I had a 3-bedroom house, and I had multiple vehicles and things like. I still have a vehicle, but I mean, I share a house. I have this room as mine and a little bit of other space here, but I've simplified. To try and minimize some of those financial sort of concerns and be able to focus on me and try and have some adventure, you know, and try and find myself again, because I was sort of lost in playing a role, I almost feel like. You
Yeah,
know, I was
absolutely.
definitely, before I began to transition, I was definitely leaning into being a provider and being, the head of the household and the man of the house. And, now that that's not what's going on, because I separated from my wife of 14 years 5 years ago, and I only began to transition 3 years ago. So that was very much over, and I had to say, what am I doing now? You know, what kind of relationship am I looking for? I'm past the age where I wanted to start a new family with have more babies and things like that. And
Wow.
I said, well, what's good for me? Because that relationship was kind of crap in the end. For me. I kind of got the short end of the stick at the end of that relationship, and I definitely played a role in that. I wanted kids and I wanted a family and stuff like, white picket fence and 2.5 children and all that. And there was things I had to do that. And I did that. And now I said, who am I? Who the hell am I? What's going to make me happy? And I got to this. I didn't know this was what it was going to be, but I am, I I don't question whether I'm making the right choice about me. Now I don't like how everyone else has reacted to it, but it's my life. And I mean, being a woman is right for me. Being a man was definitely a fake thing that I had to do because I was born with that. Yeah.
Right.
And testosterone is icky. Ooh, I'm so glad it's gone.
Isn't that the truth? I cannot believe how I feel about testosterone now after 5 years or six, actually 6 years of not having any. And you know, I did an interview for the public broadcasting station out of Boise, Idaho. They were with me when I fell to the knife for bottom surgery. And one of the cuts, one of the statements that made it onto their broadcast. I mean, the guy was God, he was there when I went in for surgery. He was there when I woke up and the day before and two more days after. I mean, I thought it was going to be about I thought the whole broadcast was going to be about me. I mean, who Look at me, I'm a little self-centered, but come to find out it wasn't. But one of the statements is I've had to live a lie my entire life to this point. And once I started my transition, I could become rigorously honest. I couldn't never do that before. I couldn't figure out what that meant, to be rigorously honest. And it was really earth-shattering, and I was really glad that statement was the one that made it into the broadcast. Was how I felt like I'd lived my entire life as a lie, and it actually helped the court case of the person in prison in Idaho that was trying to get surgery while they were in Idaho. And that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it becomes a lot of responsibility to be asked to represent such a diverse group of people. The lived experience of transgender women varies greatly. You and I are much later life transitioners, and younger trans girls. The world is a different place, and people respond in different ways, and it's very difficult. I want to be able to help a lot of people, but I also want to be willing to defer. Like, hey, just because that's my experience, because I chose not to transition to lean into the manhood kind of role. But I knew very well what the alternatives were, and they weren't pretty, and they weren't anything I wanted. They weren't anything anyone wanted. They were just basically be disowned and be be the embarrassment of the family, and be shameful to everyone who had ever done anything for me, and to be sinful in the eyes of God, and the whole everything that they. And it was like, well, then I don't want to be that, Right. So I leaned into doing the man thing. And was it my choice? Well, yeah, but all the other choices were not good. So, and when I do things, I do them with my heart and my full intention, So I didn't even know I was lying, because it was what I want. I wanted people to be happy with me and accept me, but it wasn't really. If they had asked, well, who are you, and we're going to accept you without regard for what that is, we'll just love you and accept you for whoever you are, then this is what I would have been much, much sooner,
Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm another 20 or 30 years further.
We'll say 20.
Backward. Yeah. So I'm not sure, because the language and people like Louise, for instance, it's in the chat years, she's right at my age. And so she transitioned early, and being from a backwoods family, little Appalachia up here in eastern Washington, and Hill people, we still using the outdoor toilet, and no, we weren't, but not far removed. My cousins were, and it wasn't even on the register, and so you didn't know, and they would say, well, you got to be a boy, and I don't think they said it quite like that, and so there was no option that I was smart enough to figure out at the time, and then when I started kind of catching on at different times, the social implications were so bad that you didn't want to go down that. I mean, why would anybody want to go from the most privileged group of people on the planet, you know, to being one of the least privileged people? Why would anybody want to do that?
Right.
You know, and when I started realizing it, that this is what I was or who I was, I couldn't not be it any longer. You know, I mean, I remember writing a essay, you know, that talked about I could not transition. There just was no question. I was too far down that rabbit hole, and whoa, you know, why it didn't happen sooner, I don't know,
It
but
happens when it happens. There's that time when it's like,
yeah,
oh, now or never. And I don't know what happens, or, I don't know the story of the people who, when they get that call, refuse it. I'm not sure. I think maybe my story is that, because when I was in my late teens, I very much had this really strong push. And I feel like if things had been different, that would have been my time to really. But like, I got so much pushback, and I went back in closet into denial, but the call comes back. You say,
right,
like, why am I miserable? What the hell is wrong?
yeah.
Denial's a really difficult thing.
It really is. I remember hearing about one of my friends at the factory I worked in, you know, sneaking off and going to the gay bar in the big city 40 miles away. And I thought, God, I'd love to do that, you know, and never had the guts to do it.
Well, when I was younger, they basically told me, well, what are you going to do? Run away and join the circus? They always equated it to that, as that you'll be
Oh,
a freak.
yeah.
That if you don't start acting right, because we never even really alluded to what it was, but like, you're acting like a girl, and you really need to stop, because that's freakish, and people who go and have surgeries or do that, they are freaks. And yeah, what are you going to do? Go join the circus? And I love the circus now. So,
Oh, hey, let's take a couple of minutes and check out some chats.
I think they deserve some attention. If they've
I
listened this long,
do.
they definitely deserve to be
I
recognized. Hi,
just said
everyone.
hi to those, you know, when I first came in, and so I think we stopped with Holly and Casey and Christy and you. You were in the chat room when I first got on. And who do we have? I'm skipping to Simone. Hi, Simone. How are you today? So like and subscribe. Yeah. Amen. Amen. And Teresa's here today. Great, great. I met Teresa's daughter. She takes my money that I give to the poor sometimes. Oh, so you got the thumbs up here when we do this on StreamYard, because it's on YouTube. You all are watching it on YouTube, and here I'm on StreamYard, and so I can't see what's going on. So, Beeble. Hi, Beeble.
Oh, you know what we can do?
And Gracie. Hi, Gracie.
I believe YouTube has a way to pop out the chat. Yes.
Pop out the chat.
Okay, so if you go over to YouTube, and at the
I can't go to YouTube
why not?
because we're on StreamYard. This is where all my controls are.
But can you open another window with YouTube in it?
I think it would be delayed and start causing echoes.
Well, you mute it. And then for the chat, at the top of the little chat window, there's 3 dots on top of each other, and one of the options is pop out chat, and it'll just show you the chat, and then you can drag that over top of your StreamYard.
Oh, I wonder if I can do that here.
Maybe we'll practice that.
Yeah, not today.
Separately.
Not right. Put user in timeout, block user. That doesn't work. Yeah.
Don't block me.
No, I'm not.
I'm being good. We haven't talked about any of the inappropriate things that I do on a daily basis yet.
The other thing is to do that, and then, yeah, I can't do it. The best I can do is so we started with Gracie, stopped with Gracie. Anyway, yeah, I've got to make it to where you can you see the chats at all?
I did the thing with the pop out, so I have mine beside me, so I can see it. I can see Holly. Holly, you're absolutely right. Transitioning to male is very complicated and expensive. But also, so transition isn't always about surgery or reconstructing your genitalia. And I know that a lot of, one of the things that Regina and I were, oh, look at that. One of the things that we were going to discuss is like social transition and how that has some really wonderful, it can bring you a lot of happiness in your life, you know, so just living as yourself openly, how powerful that is. And so trans men who are on testosterone, they begin to take on some, I need money to pay bills. I'm sorry, Holly. Very difficult.
I'm just like flipping through this stuff while you're talking. Keep talking. I don't mean to distract you.
You did. You distracted me a lot.
Kim, I'm so
that's
sorry.
Okay though. But basically to say that HRT for trans men can help them take on some of the more characteristics, and then learning how to dress and present yourself in a more masculine way, and then live that in your life, can relieve a lot of the dysphoria of sort of pretending to just be a woman so that you can hide as a trans man. So there's similarities in the experience, but there's also some things that are very different between being a trans woman and trans man. And it's, you know, I can't speak very much to that. I need to defer to trans men to talk about, but I do have friends who are trans men. And, you know, the downstairs thing is big though. Getting the surgery for that is 4 to 5 times as expensive. Yeah, it requires extensive as if it wasn't hard enough. So, tightrope walking without that balance stick.
People's right on. So you can't stop in the middle of a sentence and start reading.
I'm sorry. The blonde kicked in.
Oh my God. Oh, I love it.
Well, that was one of the things. So one of the things that it was used to gaslight me into denial was people constantly telling me that I was selfish to want to be transgender, to live my life authentically, because, you know, they need me to play this role, you know, and that it's selfish of me to not, you know. And I mean, like you were saying about going from being privileged to being much less privileged, well, that did affect all the people around me. You know, I lost credibility in some of my, we talked about that, and you know, in my professional life, I could never go back to the place that I was. I would not be accepted into that culture as a trans woman. So I've lost some of my social standing and my ability to earn a living wage. And I wasn't even that good at that anyways. But, yeah. Aren't you ashamed of yourself was definitely one of the things that I got to hear.
I guess I missed that part of the transitioning class. I mean, I felt guilt and I did hear the selfish part of, but I'll tell you what, the one thing that this is not is is selfish. I don't think it's a requirement to live. I mean, it's those people who are saying it's selfish are the selfish ones, because they would rather we stay the same than to be authentically us and learn how to adapt to that.
Well, yeah, it makes them uncomfortable because they've learned
Yeah.
how to live with us in the way that we have been. And change is hard, and especially for people who have known me the longest.
Uh-huh.
Not all of those people, but the people who have the most difficulty with it always come from that group. They seem to have the most invested in my in the idea of my gender, and changing that is most likely to upset people from that group of people who have known me for most of my life. New people, they're pretty nice.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't agree more with that. My friend Sarah's here now. We can start. And oh, what's Holly saying about Eastern Washington? Oh, that she lives in the same town as I do. We got. How'd I get to the end?
What have you done?
I've gotten to the end. These guys are like, our pilot is distracted. Please hang tight while our co-pilot regains control.
I should have just let it go on autopilot, but we wanted to interact with chat, so we had to switch gears.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, let's go back to doing what we were doing. We've said hi to everybody now, haven't we? Did I miss anybody? The trans guy. Do we got a trans guy in the room? Oh, my best friend is a trans guy. Okay, never mind.
I see that they're trying to troubleshoot in chat to help Holly's friend who is struggling with some transphobia in their employment.
Oh, well, here's my coffee roaster that disappeared. Hi, Darrigan.
Hi, coffee roaster guy. Thank you for roasting coffee.
Yeah. So, anyway, we need to talk, Darrigan.
Okay.
So
Do you want to put us on the big?
Oh.
Because I don't want to see all this. I thought I could hide my mess before you showed me we were narrow.
Oh, dear. Oh.
You can leave it.
If
It's there we go. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what happened there. I just lost my head.
Not at all.
It looked like at my house.
Where's your puppy dog today?
He's outside because he always wants in and out, and it's kind of hard when I'm doing this to get up and walk over there and let him out, and the drape is closed, so there's not all the bright light coming in, because the only time I get any kind of sunshine in the house is when I'm on trying to do video, and so then it's like I have a halo around my head, and it's a little distracting for me because
That's because you're a deity, Regina.
Oh, I am not a deity. I am a human being. I'm just normal. I put a pencil skirt on. Look at this today. Woo!
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, there. But my legs are so wide. I've been like always here at the computer with my legs tucked under the desk. No sunshine.
Oh,
Alabaster
mine
white,
too.
babe. Alabaster white. It's been too cold to really go shorts wise. And bright light is evil.
Ooh, the light.
Oh
Oh,
my
well, I
God.
guess I should show off. This is just an.
Oh, look at you.
I can't back up because I'm stuck
Oh
to my.
yeah. No, but you look good.
Look at that.
There you go. Oh, you got yeah.
My God, booty going. Booty,
Oh,
booty, booty.
my.
I am
How'd you
growing.
get that?
I can't wear jeans anymore. All the jeans that I was wearing a year
Yeah.
ago, my butt is too big.
Oh dear.
I like that. I'm happy about that. You
Yeah,
can't
I
pay.
would
You,
be too. I would be
most people have to
too.
pay really good money for that, but definitely hormones are working. It's slow. I'm coming up on 3 years. I'll be 3 year HRT anniversary on the 10th.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
so I got just what 3 years on you. And this last week was the anniversary of my bottom surgery.
congratulations.
Yeah. Woohoo. So look at this. Casey's so funny. Regina's house, clouds and darkness, 22 hours a day. Stream time, sun, let's shine bright. I think that's funny. Um, anyway, where was I? I got sidetracked again, didn't I? And I
No,
knew,
but we're having a good time,
are we?
right? I
Oh,
think so. I think as
I'm
long as
having,
we keep talking, maybe it's okay that we don't talk about any one thing too long. It's more entertaining that way.
yeah, I think you're right. Vaginaversary. I love that. Vaginaversary. Yes. Woohoo. And what else? So you pick a topic now. Okay, good.
Well, we had some topics that we discussed. You brought up your vaginiversary. I will mention my bottom surgery. I was not ready physically because I had spinal surgery last July, which I've recovered quite a bit from, but I'm still struggling with arm motions wear me out. Very quickly, I get pain and weakness in my arms. So the dilation, that is a process. It's very rigorous. Am I
Oh, that is
speaking
correct.
the
Yeah.
from my exploration? There's quite a bit of that, and so I opted to have orchiectomy, which I had done at the end of December of last year. So I am adjusting to. Obviously, I don't need to take spironolactone anymore, which I didn't realize that was what was making my skin so beautiful.
Oh,
And my skin is a little more oily and a little more bumpy and stuff like that. I mean, it was so perfect for years, and then once I stopped, but also my testosterone, I could feel the difference. Spironolactone was working medically, on the numbers. My testosterone was,
right.
but the difference after orchiectomy, I can tell, and the hair on my arms is lighter and finer, and just there's just everything that's been happening. I can feel that there's sort of it's happening more. It's definitely a I don't know. I'm really happy about it. I felt very euphoric afterwards to be rid of like such a awkward burden. It's been the most dysphoric physical feature. I remember having dysphoria from those. It's the first dysphoria that I can remember, 8 or 10 years old, when the very early stages of puberty started, and I was just like, oh, this is awful. I don't like this at all, and I don't want this, and this is uncomfortable, and this is icky, and like, I remember feeling that that's always been a thing that I was dysphoric about. And the stories are very awkward to explain, but in sexual situations or any kind of, they're just always not something that I wanted around. So to be gone with that is wonderful.
Excellent. I watched your video of the 3 months after last night.
Oh, okay. So if you want to watch me talk about it for 25 minutes, you can just go watch that video. I won't do that here.
Funny though. It was funny.
I try to be.
Yeah. No, I have found all your videos to be pretty funny. I particularly like the one where you split your face in half, and then you turn like one way or turn the other.
Yeah.
and that was the first one I watched, and I was just enamored with you after that. Here's my housekeeper's mother, Rinda. Hi, sweetheart. Oh. So anyway, yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Damn, you're a funny kid.
Well, I aspire. Are you still there? Good Lord! Quit bothering me. No. I'm so sorry.
We shut our phones off when. No, I'm kidding with you, but.
Some people demand attention. They just think that it's like, I'm on TV.
I know. And I've gotten to where if their name doesn't pop up on there, I don't even answer it anymore. And then I realized, what if I'm waiting for a call from somebody? So the important message, leave a damn message. I don't like voicemails. So my voicemail is shut off. Oh. So you don't get bothered with a bunch of stuff. My phone just dinged itself after the big lecture.
See, there's the notification. Whoever it is wants now.
Yeah. Well, you're busy now.
Holly, my channel is on YouTube is just my name, Kim Passable. Make sure you spell it right, or else it'll send you to cartoons. It's punny because I'm trans, but that's my name. It was originally a stage name because I found so when I came out first as trans, I didn't really have women who were to help me. Oh, thank you, Christy. So I didn't have women. I met drag queens, and they saw that I was a mess and took pity on me and took me in. But, drag queens and cross-dressers are not the same as trans women, which I, slowly discovered. Like, I really didn't know anything. I slowly discovered that, like, oh, I see, I am different. But they were very kind, and I enjoy entertaining so much. I always wanted to be an artist, but I didn't like the term starving artist, so I became a plumber. Because you never hear anybody talk about a starving plumber or starving electrician. So, I thought, I'll go, that'll be better than artist.
Oh my God.
So, but now I can kind of do what I want. Well, when I have the energy to, because spinal surgery and all, But oh, blank! It went blank.
Oh my stars! And so
my train derailed. Where were we?
Oh, you had just spilled the beans that you were a plumber.
Oh, I did work as a plumber. I know how to work some pipes, honey.
Oh, Oh, yeah. Always. Oh, never mind. I'm not even going to go down this path, because all I can, the first thing that comes to mind is plumber's crack, and it's not a pleasant thought,
Oh, I've got a
cleaning.
video of that too.
Uh, oh well, you know that might be more entertaining.
It
You
is
know,
entertaining. I have a nice butt.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I get a lot of DMs asking for me to show more butt crack. Actually, as we are
Oh
speaking of it,
dear.
the most popular um, video on my channel, I have been making videos for 2.5 years. The video
Uh,
that has the most views, that was just like the numbers, the graph just goes zoom to the stars. The search term that is most used to find that video is butt crack.
oh, nice, nice.
No,
I will look that one up tonight.
because I was doing some plumbing. You get to working, and there it is, and my butt got a little rounder, and the pants just want to like, and
That is so funny.
I really
So
don't want to lean into that.
we
Like, I'd like
we
to have success, but I really don't want to be known for my butt crack.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's kind of like um, there used to be a commercial with Josephine the Lady Plumber.
I know
Oh,
lady plumbers like are very sought after because everybody has that lady plumber fantasy.
oh, I
She's gonna
didn't.
come and clean your pipes.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, you
oh,
haven't.
oh. You
Mm,
know, I always get back to how lucky we are in this little town. There is a man here who's like 80 some odd years old, and he still is a plumber, active. He came here and unplugged my drains a couple of months ago, and the bill was less than $100.
oh, when he's gone, you are gonna so regret it because
Oh my God, I know. And one of my first suitors was a plumber, and um, he's not coming back anytime soon. But you know, hopefully, I don't know why I even brought that up. Anyway,
Christy, we love the puns. We thrive in puns. I like so there's a big like thing like, oh, I don't want to offend you. I don't want to offend you. Well, somebody somewhere got offended, and then it became like public, like all trans women get offended. They're so easily offended. Don't offend them. Like, I don't get offended. I want to make some jokes. Make crude jokes. I don't care. I don't get offended. And I've talked to some people and they're like, well, we don't want to speak for, and like, or we're not comfortable making jokes about trans. So me and some other friends who are transgender, we make jokes, make lots of jokes, puns, and because, honey, you gotta laugh. You know, it's a little bit absurd changing genders. Like, it's crazy. It's
well,
wild.
I mean, there's a topic is taking ourselves too seriously. And because laughter is a good healer. As long as we're not using laughter to cover the pain, because we need to
Oh,
live
I
through
am.
the pain. But part of the healing process is being able to laugh. And I don't know why I've been reading so much about pain and whatnot and trauma and just the hurts and everything. I go laughter, but shit, I enjoy a good laugh. I mean, I want to laugh. That's why you got the invitation, because I want to laugh with you and I want to laugh with the chat room And it's important to laugh, and being able to laugh at ourselves is like way up here on a priority in my book.
Absolutely. I love like when I find my people, when I find myself, and then I am free to just experience the joy of like I'm living. Oh my god, I made it here. Like oh my god. I
Yeah.
never I never thought. And I feel so beautiful. Like looking at myself like I'm not trying to like there are days when dysphoria hits and I feel awful, but right now I feel really beautiful. And I can go, like, if I go out now, like, I know that I've put myself together really well. I know if I go out somewhere that people will take notice and see me as a beautiful woman. And what an amazing experience that is. I feel so much joy and I want to interact with people because I feel more confident than I've ever felt in my life.
Isn't that the truth? Now, do we get the confidence from estrogen, or what gives us the confidence that we never had before? What do you think? Where
I,
does it
I,
come from?
I can
Because
tell
I
you
feel the same way. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was always masking, right? So I didn't want people to see that I was a woman because meant I was trans. So I was masking, I was putting on a face, and I was trying to be what I thought everyone wanted me to be.
Right.
So I couldn't just be myself. I had to always like have a line ready. I wanted to figure out what you wanted to hear so I could tell you that or so I could say that. And it was difficult and stressful. And if I didn't say the right thing, you might not like me. And I wanted you to like me and accept me and whatever. It's like finally to get to where it was time to transition, I had to be more like, well, I don't really care. The people who don't like me don't gotta like me. I know there's will be people who will, and I feel confident that I can find them. You know, that was a big part of I didn't transition. I knew when I was transitioning not everybody was going to like me, you know, and that it was going to be difficult and I'd have to make new friends. But then when I started to see that like if I just be me and be open up and just be straight, that people like me seem to respond better than they ever have in my life. It just
Right.
got easy to talk to people all of a sudden when I wasn't hiding everything.
I think a lot of it had to do, in my case, to being able to be authentic, and so, um, God, I forgot what I was going to say. That was just so right there too. Uh,
Authentic.
yeah, authentic. Um, I don't know. God dang it. Anyway, I hate that when that goes wrong. When my mind does a brain fart, and it just turns to gas, and I can't put two thoughts
It's the
together.
testosterone. It's the
Well,
advanced stages of testosterone poisoning. It rotted our brains. Luckily,
oh
we caught it just in time,
oh
or else
God,
we'd be,
yeah, a little bit more, and I'd have been over the edge, unable to come back from
yes,
the from that whole process,
be a
and
grumpy old
it was
man.
being able to have feelings, and because we can like love and feel emotions and express emotions, I think it makes us more authentic, and people like that better than being lost in that testosterone laden body that is unable to love properly, to feel emotions, and life is a fucking lie, you know because I really don't think that men get it. you know they don't understand what it's the things that they're missing by having to be men. The most interesting thing in this book today, and it's a quote from Jesus, And I might share that at this point, if I may.
Mr. Jesus?
Mr. Jesus, that guy, you know, and it's not in the Bible. It came out of like the lost stuff. And
I like Jesus as long as you don't bring too much religion into it.
it's going to be like,
Go ahead, let's hear it.
okay.
I'll bet you it's something good. You always have good things.
It's out of the Nag Hammadi book thing, which I have a copy of, but I've never read it. When you make the two one, he begins, and when you make the inside look like the outside, and the outside look like the inside, and the above like the below, and when you make the male and the female one in the same, then you will enter the kingdom. Very quickly, we get the idea of what he's saying. And that was a quote attributed to Jesus by the disciple Thomas. So you're making man and woman the same, you know, so there's that spectrum. And there really is no two genders. It's all just one big non-fucking binary.
I mean, we're all people.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
And I guess the division of men and women is it's a lot more subtle or insidious, like sort of undercurrent-y than it was. But, you know, men treat men differently than men treat women, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
But in the end, we're all people. So, like we really need to learn how to like treat each other. We're not adversaries. I wish we didn't have to be, maybe, because sometimes it seems like we just gotta be.
But you know, one day, me and my golf partner were out golfing, and there was a group of men sitting around at the end of the ninth hole, chatting, and she says, "What do you think they're talking about?" And I said, "They're probably figuring out, you know, how to give each other shit, you know, and pick on them. It's humor at a person's expense, which to me anymore is not very funny. You know, when I'm making fun of somebody, that's not funny at all. And even though I might be saying it because it's fun, I think it's funny at that moment, but that person might think it's funny or they might not. And I've seen men treat men like crap, and in the name of humor. And I don't get that. Never have really, but I used to like join in on that. And today I just think it's so wrong, so wrong. You know?
Well, it's like a social like preening kind of thing, or it's also posturing. You know, like if I can put you down, then that makes me above you, and we're all fighting to get the highest on the highest peg. And I like that is. I mean, it still can be. Women can still be that way, but I feel like I guess I feel now that I feel more confident in my transition, like I don't really feel very attacked very easily anymore.
Yeah.
But as trying to be a man, it was always very scary because, you know, you might see who I really am on the inside. So I was always very terrified of any of that social pruning, and I took it very seriously, and I would get very upset. Where I don't know. But yeah, men are mean. I figured that out about like drag queens generally are really mean because they're men. Like,
oh, we got some stuff.
They act like men. They're very bossy, and Jesus was in touch with. Jesus was amazing. I wish that religious people were not so hateful. I don't understand how they've lost the message. And gender as a
Either.
social
How?
construct is gender is. Now sex, but sex is really only relevant to reproduction.
That makes sense. Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I like what these guys are saying.
You have a smart chat. They know what's going on.
These guys, these people, these ladies in my chat room, they saved my ass last week, and I want to take a moment just to say thank you because I was lost when I came on. I wasn't sure I was going to last 10 minutes, and that I felt like I did my first reading, and while I was reading, they circled around me like they circled the wagons around me and protected me until I could take care of myself. And I have been touched by that all week long. And I just felt like, by the time the show was over, was the best I'd felt that day. I was just one of those weak um, moments for me. I get that way too. And these folks in the chat room saved my ass, and it was just absolutely wonderful. Okay, enough. I just wanted them to know that I recognized what they did.
Community is so important. Transition is hard. Like you have to unlearn so much stuff and relearn so much stuff so that you can adjust. And your brain chemicals are going everywhere because you've changed your hormones completely. And it is a wild ride. And, you mix in with that financial difficulties, difficulties with people and families, and it just to have like a group of people who just accept you and love you and want to see you prosper and find yourself and wow and when I've met people who haven't found it, like they were in communities where they couldn't find other trans people, couldn't find other accepting people, and they were just, it was crushing.
So so yeah, that's what we're trying to build here is the community, and it breaks my heart when I see things like what happened to Louise yesterday, and I and you know Lesoir, nice to see you today. And oh, there it is. I got the right one now. So yeah, because we all need to stick together because we're so limited in our numbers. And I mean, I like the idea of blurring the label lines because we all have all these wonderful people here like Teresa and Holly and to that are big time allies to our cause, but still, we need to find our commonalities and build on the commonalities and let the differences amongst all of us, even when we butt heads, we need to be able to forgive and move on. And so often that doesn't happen. And we've got to figure out a way through that. And I love the community. I'm all about community. Outside of this community, I'm also a part of that community on the other side of these walls that surround me right now. And that's a community that I have to be able to manage in because my survival here locally is dependent on those folks on the other side there. And that's the same for all of us. If it just stands to reason that we want a strong community. We talked the other day about how you had to search out a loving community, and you know, how far did you have to go? Did you change towns or?
I moved downtown. I had to move from the suburbs, and so there was some people that was accepting, but especially early in recovery when I was very uncomfortable, it only really took one person in the room to make me feel very awkward, and to distract me. And so, like, I didn't, like, say, I'm leaving and never coming back. I just started spending more time around the queer community. I started going to gay bars, even though I don't drink. And I would find some kind of event so that there was more people than normal. And so people were there to do there was something to do other than drink, because I don't drink.
Right.
So I went down, I like playing darts, so I went for Dart League. And then there was drag shows, and there was a lot of people would congregate to watch the show, and I enjoyed it, so I would go, and I would get there a little bit early and meet people before and stay late after, offer people a ride home because Ubers are expensive at 2 a.m. And
Wow.
I was fortunate enough. I took advantage of the fact that I was too sick to work, and was going out to the shows and to the clubs and meeting people and finding communities of supportive people and accepting people and meeting other trans people. And, I spent a solid year investing daily into building that community and working on my presentation, because I didn't know how to cross dress when I was a guy. I just didn't. Some people learn because I was in denial. I was afraid to.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on that.
So I had to learn how to do makeup, which luckily I was around drag queens, so they took pity on me and taught me some tricks. And I had to learn how to dress myself so I didn't look like a beast, And I had to give hormones some time to do some things here, And as I started to present better, it was easier to go into the suburbs because I wasn't so glaringly trans, if that makes
Oh, you
sense.
mean go downtown? So you weren't so glaringly trans?
Well, once I learned those things around accepting and loving people who would say, like, that dress doesn't look quite right on you, but you did a great job on your eyebrows today. They would,
Uh-huh.
I had given them permission to be a little bit critical, but they were also loving about it. You know what I
Right.
mean? They were not like trying to tear me down. And some time around people like that gave me some confidence in my presentation and gave me some time to really like grow into being a woman because I didn't know how to do it. I knew I
Right.
was, but I had never been groomed to be a woman. I had been groomed to be a guy. So it took some
Right.
time.
Oh, one of the game changers for me was there was a big car show right in front of my coffee shop. And one of my friends had told me that if I would go wander around outside, that her and her daughter would run my coffee shop that day. Because I was always complaining that I never got to see the cars. I never got to do anything fun when there was fun things when the highway goes right through the middle of our town. And so for this car show, they shut the highway, diverted around. And then from 5 o'clock in the morning until 5 o'clock at night. And so then all these cars move in and we have this huge day. And so anyway, this one day I'm dressed in a pair of jeans and a tunic top, and I think that I'm just looking sharp. So I go out and I'm wandering around the streets and I find Marilyn Monroe out there, a lookalike lady. And I strike up a conversation with her. Mm, excuse me. And so the next thing I know, we're in doing a photo shoot with me and Marilyn in my coffee shop.
Nice.
And oh my God, it was so cool. And she was so fascinating. She was like hired all the time to go do these shows like this, just wander around town and be a celebrity. And she was just a person like you and me, you know.
But we are celebrities. She
Oh,
was a celebrity like you and me.
but I saw those pictures, later that night. I looked at the picture and I thought, who's that dude standing next to Marilyn? I was just
Ooh,
like, I was so
that's an awful dysphoric feeling.
oh my God. Yeah, I do not show those pictures to anybody.
Oh.
That, it was just so heart-wrenching for me that I had to up my game. And you know, one of the things that I had always done was I watched the ladies in downtown Dayton here, and I found my two favorite dressers, and I kind of mimicked them to a certain degree. I never tried to dress better than them because that would draw attention to me. And I, you know, and so, I'm not going to mention their names here because but it was just really kind of cool to learn that lesson, to figure out how to dress, how to wear appropriate shoes and whatnot. One of the first trans ladies I met was always dressed to the nines, to go shopping in the, you know, stiletto heels, and the lady's 60 some odd years old, and all this jewelry and whatnot, and sticks out like a sore thumb, and not to be critical. I don't want to be judgmental. I
I
just didn't
mean,
want.
sometimes I do like to stand out, but not everyone wants that attention. And it depends on where I'm going. If I'm going somewhere where I will be the only trans person that's ever been there, I'm probably not going to go that loud.
Yes. Well,
Um,
that's it's just you find that niche that you're comfortable in on everyday life, and oh, I could have gone more, but I was really comfortable at that level that those two ladies were at, and so I dressed. I thought that I dressed somewhere close to their standards, and here in this town, it's very acceptable, and so it was perfect.
you
But
were
what
no
I
longer glaringly transgender.
no longer glaringly transgender. I was told the other day that by a person who's become a good friend here, um, that she never thinks of me as anything or anybody else other than Regina. A lot of these people, like Holly and whatnot, never knew me before, and and so, why would they think of me as anything other?
Well, as some people might. When they find out, where we come from, they think differently of us, but that it's
That's true. I mean, one time I was talking to a man that I don't want to go too much detail because I don't want it to get back. And they said something, and I said, "Why would you know that?" And I said, "You've never known me as anybody but Regina. So why would you say something like that?" Well, I said, "Don't be worried about what they told you. You have no business saying that to me." And that's kind of the way I feel. If you've never known me before, then you know don't let on like you know anything different. Doesn't matter really. I mean, I'll tell you I'm trans. That's all there is to it. But I don't know. Does that make sense?
it does. I think though that the transition is a process of change, And even though we knew who we weren't that person. We hadn't been able to live that person, and so that we have to grow into the person that we have to become something different. It really is a big change. It's not just like I change clothes and put on makeup
Yeah.
and now I'm a woman, and it wasn't like I took a pill and then bam, I was a woman. It was they were steps in a process, and then there was all the mental work, and then there was the social reintegration, and the people who know me recognize it. They see,
Right.
and we were talking about one of the topics for the show would be when cis female invite us in because they see
Right.
that we've really become, and it isn't about surgery or medication, or it's not about any one thing, but it's really about just the transition takes time, and at some point we're in the knowing, and we've become. I don't want to say we've arrived necessarily, and I think it's really a long process, especially when we waited so long. Boy, it's so validating when women finally invite me, because I'm not one to push myself in. You will never hear me stand on things and say, I deserve to be here because I'm a woman. Like, when someone invites me in, that means so much. I'm reading the chat, so I apologize if I stopped.
Oh, yeah. These guys got some stuff going on here. And so, like, this is a nice comment.
Trying to help the people who did know you before to transition their thoughts and feelings too. I don't know how to do that. I like, for example, my mother, who struggled greatly with it, I asked her to go to therapy with me, and she was too embarrassed, and
Oh, wow.
she wouldn't go, and like, there's tons of information online, and she has, the internet. She's not that old that she doesn't know how to use these
Right.
things, and she could learn, but she was just resistant to it. But so, I mean, like, there's lots of things I can suggest for people to learn and try to understand, but like, not everybody is open to it.
Nice.
Portland makes me feel comfortable. Pittsburgh has an amazing community of people. If you look, they're here. There's a lot of acceptance, and when you're in the city, there's so much diversity. In this part of the really close to the city, with the colleges, there's a lot of young people, and there's a lot of diversity, and hateful, and really those people are not welcome. They either keep their mouth shut or they kind of bugger off.
Good. So, you were looking for a warmer place to go. Portland could be like maybe an alternative. It's
Portland is
warm.
warmer?
Yeah, without ever being really hot.
Really? Because I know Florida, which is where I was looking, is really hot and very
Yeah.
humid.
And Portland in the winter is chilly, but it's not like Pittsburgh. It doesn't get the Arctic Express. It doesn't. It gets wet. It rains quite a bit in Portland, but
Well, I don't
it,
mind being wet.
the way you say it, no. Oh dear. Um,
But
yeah, Portland.
the darkness destroys me. I get seasonal depression. So is it dark in Portland? Does the time changes, like like in the summer here, it gets dark at 9 o'clock at night, 9:30 at night in the summer, and then in the winter it gets dark at 4:30 in the afternoon.
It's
And
about the same.
that's lousy. I want days.
Well, I
Kim,
think. Oh,
she said to me she likes the name I chose, but really liked my dead name too, and asked me why I don't keep it. Oh,
who said that?
Casey.
Oh, oh.
I had a discussion about my name with my mother after I had picked Kim, and everyone knew me as Kim. I'm like, I like Kim, I don't want to change it to whatever the other name was. And she was mad at me.
So Simone lived in Florida too, and she.
Lived there for a long time. Simone, what part of Florida do you live in? Because I'm still trying to figure out where I go. I always heard Miami. Recently, I was told Miami has lots of gay people, and I was like, oh,
I
okay.
always thought that the Key West area, that's like LGBTQ heaven down there, isn't it?
I don't know. I've never.
I've heard that. I don't know.
So okay, we've gotten rid of anybody who's not interested. By now, anybody who's not like legit is gone. So we can talk about anything we like. And like last night, I was browsing on Florida to see where the good swinger clubs are.
Oh dear.
Because
Oh,
I love me a
oh
good swingers
my.
club.
I am an old prude,
Are you, Regina?
Oh, absolutely.
Are
Don't
you
I?
Rigidina? I don't believe it.
Oh, believe it, girl. What? I was like leaning in somebody's car window the other day, and they commented on my cleavage, and they go, "Oh, slut by day, prude by night."
Prude by night? No, the other way around. I'm a prude in
Oh,
the daytime.
oh,
I'm a
oh!
very
I've had it wrong all this time.
sophisticated lady. I'm very businesslike. I'm on a board of directors of a very prestigious nonprofit organization that's helping transgender women.
Really?
Absolutely. I do that stuff. I just was on a Zoom meeting for the uh, development group and stuff like that. And,
I I'm on the board of directors for our local theater here.
exactly.
I mean that is how we make changes.
Right?
Is we get involved in the community and we become the transgender um oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh well, never mind.
I don't know. I'm going to get. Oh, the
You,
word. Where I am one of the good ones. I am a proper lady, and I act the way they want to. Makes them feel like, oh, well, you're a good one. So and then I
we're
insidiously get
all
in there
good.
and work for change.
Yeah, I mean that where the example is kind of like the word that it's like when you heard that you are the only big book somebody will ever see, you know, it's like I
Yeah,
am
no pressure.
the first trans people a lot of people have ever met. I have heard that so many times, and so you have to. I represent, because we're out there in the community, we represent, and we have to be, you know,
Right,
good.
and everyone on my YouTube channel wants to see my ass. But like I need to maintain a level of social status that I can still be accepted into these situations where I can try and make changes and help people. I have to be an adult about it. But I still like to play. I don't want to be lonely. I'm single, ready to mingle.
Gosh,
But
that
I
would
mean,
be.
there's already this horrible stigma that all trans people are sex workers. And so, like, I have to pretend to be a prude or else people assume that. And there's still plenty of people who assume that anyway, as my DMs get filled up with people asking about my parts and things like that.
That's too bad people still ask after all the talk we hear about.
You'd think people would have some idea of how to, but men are such trash. I was never a man. I just can't identify with the way I see men act. I would never. I can't believe it. That's what real men do. How they act. I never thought that way.
I didn't either. But I think that we were different as men.
Well, testosterone is a powerful drug. Yeah. And
when I've
hormone
seen
changes
done to people like Buck, Buck Henry. Wasn't that his name?
Buck Angel?
Buck Angel, yeah.
I was just watching a video the other day when he was talking to an early detransitioner. So.
Who was an early detransitioner?
I don't know the name. It was a young.
Okay.
A young person who had, been. They got. It's a really a difficult story, an example of someone who had sort of gotten run through the mill, as it were. Like they showed up, they showed some signs of potentially being trans. They took and they told them, well, you're trans and you need to transition and you need to do it now, or else you're going to get secondary male characteristics that you can never get rid of. So you have to start medication and da 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 da. And a couple years in, they're like, wait a minute, I don't think this is right for me. And then they're in that very difficult situation. Oh, you switched us. Yeah. What are you doing to us, Regina?
Hey, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
I'm here.
Well, we were talking about Buck Angel, and I started talking about what I was watching the other night. But what was your point in regard to Buck Angel? I wasn't really very happy with the way they were interviewing the person, to be perfectly honest. I felt like they were trying to sensationalize it. Because detransition's a real thing. I think that it would be better if we gave people more the opportunity to explore their gender without really stating an absolute. Right. Like I am doing my gender exploration phase. I'm feeling maybe, I'm undecided for a moment, I'm going to present in different ways and see how it makes me feel, rather than binary, you gotta switch all the way one way or the other, or you have to declare yourself non-binary. It's like, can't I just figure out what feels right?
Why don't we just quit calling gender anything? Let's just lose the term.
I think you're asking
all the labels, and we just all identify the way we feel like today, any given day. Like one day, it's like, somewhere in the middle's fine.
I agree, but there's a lot of societal pressure against that. There's a lot of people that want to maintain traditional gender roles, that want to maintain traditional marriages, who want to maintain...
But they're wrong.
I think they are too. I definitely think...
And that is the part that needs to change. You and I don't need to change to fit their mold. They need to change, or just to let the mold go.
They don't need to change at all, but we don't either. Right. I think that's like equality. It's like mind your own effing business. I'm transgender, and if you think I'm a man, you're wrong, because it's none of your business. If you're not interested, bug off.
And if you don't like this show, don't watch it. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah. And I don't want to get nasty, because you don't change minds that way. It's difficult. I'll humor people's questions and interrogations repeatedly before I really tell them to bug off. But like there is a
Right.
point. It's like, look, I'm just me. The word transgender means that I'm a woman who was assigned male at birth and now I'm living as a woman. I'm not stupid. I know who and what I am, but I'm a woman now. And yes, I'm also transgender. If you're not okay with that, the words are in the book. If you don't want to read that book, go read your book somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. It's simple.
I wish it was. It seems like it could be simple, though.
Well, I mean, that is the whole idea of us being out normalizing things and to make it safe, as confident as you and I are to come out too. Because I know ladies that aren't as confident. It takes time to become confident. Sometimes it takes I don't know, it takes what it takes, and we're not all the same. And that is the beauty of humanity, is we are not all the same. Let's embrace the fact that each of us is different, and try and build confidence in each other.
And it's not impossible. There have been times and places where it was fine.
Uh-huh.
There have been communities where it is perfectly acceptable, where it was very integrated, and it's been some, colonialism has pushed some really, and some religious groups have really pushed some ideas that are, like, I think if they had the opportunity, they would line us all up and shoot us, and it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, no, we're going to stop this. That's not how this is going to be. We're not going to condemn people to death for being different. You're allowed to be who you want to be, but no, we're not going to allow that hate anymore, and I'm going to stand up here and say, like, I realize that, like, you and we put ourselves in a little bit of danger by standing up and publicly saying who we are and what we are, and it wasn't so very long ago that, like, if you were trans, you sure did your best to hide it.
Well,
and so I feel like
yeah.
we're trying to be activists just by being us and being public about it. And I love that there's examples of that, because there was nothing for us, or very little. Like RuPaul, when I was a kid, RuPaul was the closest thing I had to example. And RuPaul's a drag queen. That was really the only.
And now, last night or night before last, I started watching Pose. So we have real examples now. I mean, the
Pose,
new
yeah.
season of Pose is out, kids.
It's relatable. It absolutely has some very, very strong, like, the storylines are very powerful,
Oh my
and
God, yeah. Yeah,
and
that second episode last night had me in tears. Oh shit.
I love that it is, there are mainstream media outlets that they could be doing something else, but they've chosen to do this, and I love that. You know what I mean? They're out there trying to help normalize, trying to help integrate, and by telling really good stories in good ways, in entertaining ways. You know what I mean? And I try and do that with humor. They're doing it with a drama, and I love that. It's there. We're not just the butt of someone's joke.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
dead on the cop show. The dead trans woman, the dead trans prostitute was the only representation we had on TV.
Let's change the Ace Ventura rendition of it all. And
Yeah. Oh, I know. Pose season 3 is coming out, and then it'll be the end. hopefully they'll have another show and tell some more stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's all been started because it started off with Laverne and Orange is the New Black, and so things keep progressing, and oh,
Casey made a statement about people of color, and I agree wholeheartedly. Like, as a trans person, I am in a position of safety and privilege. The fact that I don't need to do sex work to to take care of myself and to provide for myself, gives me and that trans women of color are,
oops, is this the right one?
yeah, that trans women of color are at huge risk because they are handled very roughly. The police will not recognize that they are women, so then they're treated like men, and put into men's prisons, harassed, and as sex workers, because it's harder to get a job as a person of color, but then you add that you're a transgender person of color, it can be very difficult to find employment that comes anywhere close to sex work, as far as how to. And so then, not only are they stigmatized for doing sex work, but then they're also put themselves. Sex work is very dangerous, very dangerous.
Absolutely, yeah.
And we need to destigmatize sex work, make it safer, because it so disproportionately affects. Yeah, I recognize that I am not in the most danger of anyone, and I hope that, like,
Well,
me being here, I'm making it a little better for everyone. But when the time comes, I am happily step aside, for a trans woman of color who wants to, talk about her struggles and whatnot. I would love to make platforms for those people. I have some friends. Some of them don't want to be public. You know what I mean? They're stealth, and they want to be. They want to stay stealth, and I don't blame them. Like, there's enough. I'm tanking. If that makes any sense. Like, people make nasty comments on my social media, and I can handle it. So I'm willing to put my face out front and take the heavy fire. That's a video game reference, tanking. But I'm here. I'm willing to be out here and take some criticism and answer some questions and get interrogated, to try and push for some better representation, and then hopefully
excuse me a second. What's your sources on this, Holly? I need sources before we can talk about this.
Oh my, yes. Oh, I can talk about something that I don't have a good source on. So I am in the know of people who are in the know. And in the state of Pennsylvania, there is right now in the draft, not even the early draft stages, basically a law that will make being in the queer community, basically gay, lesbian, transgender, bisexual, will make you a minority. And that will be going to governor, that he is anticipating it, and that it might pass. And that would channel funding for programs to help and support people. Yeah, protections for sex workers will go a long way to protect trans women of color.
Canada is so much further advanced on that kind of stuff than we. Okay, here we go.
Some
I
ways,
heard it on
yes.
NPR yesterday. I'll find it and post in my no gatherings of trans friends.
And in which
In
state?
Idaho, just next door to us.
Idaho. Trans students
Yeah, they
cannot
were one of the states
cannot
that
meet.
passed the law about the trans students not participating in athletics, and it's it's heartbreaking because Idaho is such a great landscape, and I think I've lived in Idaho about 15 years a while back, and I did a lot of work in the backcountry in Idaho, and it's full of outlaws for sure, but they have gone so far wacko that it's scary.
Well, let's hope that it dies on the Senate floor there,
Yeah, no kidding.
because that's crazy.
I just
That's
find that that's just way too that's yeah, all 10 students in the whole state. Oh wait, I see some. Do something. Anyway, oh my God, what time is it?
oh,
Where are
we've
we
gone
at?
over our hour and a half, I believe.
Oh my stars, look at this. Where'd my timer go?
I don't know,
Oh, there it is.
but I
Oh
thought we were
shoot.
having a good conversation, so I wasn't
We
upset.
are. I am just like totally enraptured with our conversation. Let's go see if we can make 10 more minutes, and we still got 10 people paying attention to us, and then we'll go. I've got it. This is like such a drain on me that I have to meet my therapist at 4,
Oh, okay.
and so we can go till 3:55. No, I I I I I want to eat something. I was going to cook dinner before I had
My
to meet.
roommate is cleaning frantically because we have guests in town on coming on Monday, and so this is their day off. So they're chomping at the bit to make lots of noise, run the vacuum cleaner, and they're making
Oh,
all kind of noise downstairs. But they were really they wanted to make noise upstairs, and I was like, "I'm on TV, be quiet." So I gotta get off eventually so they can make lots of noise.
oh my gosh. Yeah, yeah. Well, it was like my housekeeper couldn't get here until this morning, and I'm going, I don't care. Come, you've got to clean the house before the TV starts, but you have to be out by 11:30. Sweet Jillian, and then we get to chit chatting, and I stop. I'm like half dressed, going, look at this video about the weenies. Your weenie video yesterday that you, oh my stars. And you were trying to tell me about putting on the good front in your, the, uh, oh, that was so funny. It was so cute. And I loved your makeup.
I mean, T-girls serve wieners, honey.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, let's be real. Like, we sometimes we serve wieners, and there is a definitely, a demand. There's lots of, people looking for that, you
And
know.
Louise, it's on Kim Passable.
Well, so Kim Passable is my site that I've been doing, but the comedy work that I have been doing, aside from that, that was a little like sort of like sample thing that I was showing people to sort of explain to them my concept. But we made a site called T Girl Willies. And T Girl Willies is like an imaginary world where there is a hot dog restaurant and well, a wiener restaurant, and it is staffed by trans women, and it is all about the puns and innuendo, And it's the idea is to have a good time with it and make people laugh and show people that we have good humor. You know, it's just like, but if you're gonna tell a joke about a trans woman, make it a good joke. Make it something funny. You know, be clever about it. You know, don't say ha ha ha, you have a dick. That's not funny. You know, make a real joke.
Oh, look at this. My moderators are trying to steal you away from me.
No, no. Okay, yes, yes. I love Friends. I love it.
Oh gosh.
I was not trying to hide from you. Oh, thank you, Christy. That's T-Girl Willies. That's another channel, and so collaborations are really difficult. I found some young trans women. I got them on board with the project, but collecting it's hurting cats trying to get a group of trans women to work on the same thing at the same time. And you know, with the pandemic, and then one of our actors, Coda, lives in Canada, and Rebecca lives in the UK. And then several of us are in the Pittsburgh area, but you know, like we're not even all together. So it's going to take a little bit of time to get the ball rolling and get things there. So there's just one video, but like we're trying to be funny and have a good time.
Not to change the subject.
Let's change
the subject. You made me think of something, because when you said hurting cats, you know, I first heard that whole thing from Marty, and so I sent her this song the other day, or the title of this song called "Hurting Cats," and it's by some blues, obscure, by the way, blues band, entitled "Hurting Cats," and I just think it's funny that there's actually a song about hurting cats. You know, I can't ever understand words or anything, so that part's irrelevant, but you know, just I will try and get more information on this to have it all deciphered, and we'll talk about it next time.
Okay. Well, we need the version that has the subtitles, so you know what they're saying.
Right. But it's so obscure that's hard to come up with.
Oh yeah, you got one version on YouTube, and it's a bad recording, and it's
YouTube. It was on some obscure music thing that I belong to, and I saw the title of it, "Hurting Cats," and so I immediately downloaded it. And now the rest is up to me. Good luck with that.
Oh, well, the good thing about it being obscure, we can play a clip of it, and YouTube won't mute us because they won't recognize it. So you can play it for us.
Out of that, yeah.
Like, or you can ask them, "Hey, can I use your music?" And that can be your intro thing. And that'll be in my brain cells. It'll be like hurting cats, just to get them all going in the same direction at the same time. Which brings us back to the meditation that you started with, if you recall.
Yeah. What about it?
You see, I was paying attention.
You were.
The meditation.
And are we still being here now?
Hmm?
Are we still being here now?
I'm trying like heck.
Oh.
I think that we made it around the horn.
Yeah. And,
you want to read it again? It was a good one.
It was pretty good, wasn't it? No, I don't want to read it again. But maybe I should. I don't know. It would be kind of funny to come in on the note and go out on the same note.
I mean, I think that was what the reading was in regard to, was being able to hold one thought. And I think it's important that
but
you know.
I always think it's to be in the moment. That's the one thought, is whatever we're doing is the thought that we should be having. Breathe in, breathe out. So, the hurting cats meditation, was that the one?
Yes. Hurting cats. All right, ladies, let's.
Yeah. That is
yeah. Oh, it was so much fun. The young girls, they have so much energy. They're so alive. I love being around my young trans friends.
Yeah.
it's chaotic though. You know, it's chaotic energy. It's wild and artistic and creative, and it's like exhausting. Like, okay, break time. And then they're like, Kim, we haven't heard from you in 3 days. I was like, that's because I'm in recovery of your insanity. But like, they are wonderful, and I love them. And
Oh my! Last Sunday, it was like Bloomsday across the Northwest or across the world, and so this race that started out in my hometown has now gone virtual. And so I found myself Sunday on a mountaintop hiking with this other 70-year-old woman and her daughter and her partner. And we had to do 7.7 miles. And it was up and down, side hilling around this mountain. And absolutely stunningly beautiful, big overlooks of like Eastern Washington and the Palouse and the colors of the fields being green and brown and yellow and in bloom and you know, and mountains, snow-capped peaks. And oh my God, but it like to have killed me. That was 3 miles further than I've walked this year. You know, I do 2 miles pretty almost every day. I do
good for
5
you.
miles on occasion, you know, and then the nearly 8 miles was like 3 miles longer than anything else. And oh, but you were talking about young people wearing you out. Here's this lady my age, and she didn't seem fazed by it at all. She just like, yeah, what's the matter with you, Regina? Why are you so quiet? Why are you not keeping up? Why are you breathing hard? I was talking to her this morning for a couple of minutes, and I was telling her about how I just came home and died afterwards, you know, and she didn't agree with me. You know, she had a normal day.
I guess she's more active than you. I see.
I wouldn't have thought so.
I had a lot of downtime for the last year because July I had surgery, and then I was sort of, you know, on bed rest for about 3 months, and then in December I had the bottom surgery, and that actually healed really fast. But still, you know, in wintertime it gets cold, and it's like I just didn't do. So I walked 2.5 miles last Tuesday, and then I walked 1.5 miles on Saturday or so. I'm so sore. I'm not used to all that, but I need it. I need to be able to get around, and they keep me young.
Keep using
T minus 2 minutes, and then I'm
just putting this in your room.
I'm on TV. Leave me alone.
Okay, well, let's wrap this up. Let's kind of go through this. Oh my gosh. So all these guys, Casey is so funny. Holly, I miss Jillian, Drew, Taz, Christy. Hey, you guys, we're leaving. We're signing out. Holly walks 5 miles. I don't know how.
10 miles a day. I do know how. Is you get up and you do it and you do it and you work up to it, and then you just keep doing it, and then it
works like 5 jobs and is on the board of directors for, you know, God, she's on the board of directors and Holly just never stops.
Way to go, Holly. Don't stop. Keep doing what you do good. Although, unless you need rest, and then stop and rest.
Thanks, Arinda. Love you. So, anyway, let's get out of here. It's time. You guys want to clean your room. They're going to like come barging in any second and haul you out to do the work. You know, we could go another half hour. Maybe they'll have the house all cleaned up except for your room.
They have me locked in the tower. The only way they're going to let me out is if I scrub the kitchen floor and all the things. I'm like Cinderella.
Do they call you Cinderella?
They would if they could get me to scrub the kitchen floor. If it would get me to scrub the kitchen floor. I've got laundry. I've got vacuuming. I've got cooking and cleaning.
Well, I've got those things to do too. So let's just call it good now.
I don't even like guys that much. He's my roommate, not my spouse.
Oh dear. Who said what? Hey, bye-bye, Gracie. See you Saturday night. You know,
Thank you for being here, Gracie.
we do the gender support group thing on Saturday nights in a Zoom meeting that is gaining a little traction locally here. And actually, I've got some people who come from our groups. So y'all are welcome too. Just shoot me a DM and I'll get you the Zoom number.
That sounds amazing, except that's the night sometimes I go to the swinger club.
Well, you know, Saturday nights, I found myself sitting here alone, and that was the only night I really had free to talk. And so since I'm the one who started it by request from a group of therapists, I just picked Saturday night. It can always be talked about and changed later, you know, if when things open up again here.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things is we're all in a routine of not having anything to do. That was rough.
Right. And so we just got started, maybe 2 months, not even 2 months, I don't think, probably more like a month.
You might find that it doesn't fly very well in the summer, but when the weather gets kind of like lousy again, that things pick up again. Because I know I used to see that a lot in some of the AA meetings, that they would do really well all winter, but then as soon as the sun came out, everyone was off barbecuing and whatever. And it was
true.
You just had to be willing to sort of go with the flow.
So when you transitioned, did you have problems in AA?
No.
Everybody was accepting?
No, not everybody.
But for the most part?
I mean, I think that there were a lot. The larger percentage of people were open-minded to it and non-judgmental. But, I mean, there was definitely some people who found it incredibly awkward. And were not really comfortable with it. But they just sort of like bugged off. And maybe there was like 1 or 2 people who kind of gave me the sort of like, this is inappropriate, or I guess you're still allowed to come around, but don't gay the place up with your weirdness. That was very awkward.
They would say stuff like that?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And the things people would say to me to the side ranged from, hey, I didn't know you were going to be a gutter whore, you want to go get some, which it was like, what? You've known me for 10 years, and what makes you think that because I'm a woman that now you can be disrespectful of me? To you're going to go to hell, are you sure this is what you want to do? Because God forbids.
Yeah.
Like, what? Really? Yeah, is that your take on it?
Then.
But no, mostly I had people who told me how brave I was and were very validating and loving and, open-minded. They said, like, we don't understand, but okay, if this is you, we'll do our best to support you. And I dropped my speakers because I'm getting flustered, apparently. I got very animated, I guess.
Oh, I love the animation. Oh!
I was like, okay, we've gone over now You
Okay.
have an appointment to keep, and I have housework to do. I love that your community has participated so much in the stream, so we should do this again.
Oh, well, would you come back and do this again sometime? Oh dear, I
Absolutely.
just cut you off
Eh,
there.
she's gone. Get rid of her. I
Yeah.
would love to. I would absolutely
Well,
love to.
great,
And
great.
you're a wonderful hostess, and I've enjoyed sort of following you and getting to know you in some of your other streams and some of your other guests. And I love to see when you're up with Marty and stuff like that. So like, absolutely,
Oh
I want to
gosh.
spend more time with you as yeah.
Well, thank you. I want to spend more with you too, and so we will.
Yeah, I'll get a plane ticket out there cheap. We'll just have like a face to
Oh
face.
God, it's so cheap to fly right now. You can fly into Pasco and I'll come pick you up.
Well, I get my second. I got my Moderna. I get my second shot in like 3 days, and then it's 2 weeks, and then
Yeah,
then we can seriously discuss. Like I would love to come in. I can travel a little bit, you know,
cool,
especially
cool.
if you can put me up for a couple of days.
I put you up for as long as you don't move in, and I can put you up for a while.
I don't want to move in there. I really want to move to someplace warm. Plus, if I'm not here to clean, my roommate will have a bird. So I can't stay long. I gotta come back
Yeah,
here
yeah,
and do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I, yeah, come out. That'd be great. That would
Yeah,
be
I'm
wonderful.
I'm dead serious. I would love to come out
Oh,
west.
well, the other thing is I've never been to Pittsburgh. I've never been east of the Mississippi, and so, you know, maybe we could reciprocate.
That sounds great.
Yeah, yeah, that would be wonderful. I would love to have somebody show me around some big city to where I wouldn't get intimidated, scared, and
You want to
run
come to the
away.
big city, honey?
Oh my stars. I've always wanted to go to the bright lights in the big city.
Okay, wait. Here's custom. No, this is mine, so don't you dare use it. Is I've never been to a super Walmart.
A super Walmart.
A
You did.
super Walmart. It has a grocery store and a department store. Okay, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm gonna.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't
That
top that. That's my best stuff.
that is really, really good. And oh my God, my camera's telling me it's time.
It does that every once in a while. Just
Yeah.
there
Oh,
it goes.
yeah. It
Now you're
just
sharp as a tack again.
oh, I am just sharp as a tack. Anyway, ta ta. Bye bye. And we will see you later. And everybody in the chat room, love you all. And I've never been to Spain, but I've been to Arizona. Well, I have never been to Spain, and I have been to Arizona. I was just in Arizona 2 weeks ago.
I've never been to Spain, but I've been to Arizona. That's a song. I'm gonna look that up. But I'm gonna go. Do I have to boot me, or do you boot me?
I boot you, but I'm
Okay.
just like busy talking and
Throw me out so
oh,
I can go do my cleaning. I love you,
okay.
Regina. It's been
Hey,
great being here. We'll
hey,
talk
love
soon.
having you, and we will see you later. Take care of yourself. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye.
And so, with all of that, so Casey, Regina's camera is taking cues from Marty's camera. I know, and I go like this, and it all. So anyway, you all have a good day. Thanks for sticking with us for God, 45 minutes longer than what we should have went. Anyway, love you all. Bye bye, and thank you ever so much for following and being part of this. Make sure we hit the like button, like, and subscribe and be notified. Bye bye.